First, ethics refers to well-founded standards of right and wrong that prescribe what humans ought to do. Let's tackle what ethics means to you. Some years ago, sociologist Raymond Baumhart asked business people that exact question. What does ethics mean to them? These replies might be typical of our own. The meaning of ethics is hard to pin down, and the views that many people have about ethics are shaky. Many people tend to equate ethics with their feelings. But being ethical is clearly not a matter of following one's feelings. A person following his or her feelings may recoil from doing what is right. In fact, feelings frequently deviate from what is ethical. Sometimes the ethical thing is firing someone or breaking off a relationship, but these things never feel good. Nor should one identify ethics with religion. Most religions, of course, advocate high ethical standards. Yet, if ethics were confined to religion, then ethics would apply only to religious people. Ethics applies as much to the behavior of the atheist as to the devout religious person. Religion can set high ethical standards and can provide intense motivations for ethical behavior. Ethics, however, cannot be confined to religion, nor is it the same as religion. The law often incorporates ethical standards to which most citizens subscribe. But laws, like feelings, can deviate from what is ethical. Think about our own pre-Civil War slavery laws and the old apartheid laws in present-day South Africa. These are grotesque, obvious examples of where ethics and the law are not the same thing. Moreover, if ethics were doing whatever society accepts, then to find out what is ethical, one would have to find out what their society accepts. The lack of social consensus on many issues makes it impossible to equate ethics with whatever society accepts. A lot of the times people really don't know what it means. But we think of it as two things. First, ethics refers to well-founded standards of right and wrong that prescribe what humans ought to do, usually in terms of rights, obligations, benefits to society, fairness, or specific virtues. Ethical standards also include those that enjoin virtues of honesty, compassion, and loyalty. And ethical standards include standards relating to rights, such as the right to freedom from injury and the right to privacy. Such standards are adequate standards of ethics because they are supported by consistent and well-founded reasons. Secondly, ethics refers to the study and development of one's ethical standards. As mentioned above, feelings, laws, and social norms can deviate from what is ethical. So it is necessary to constantly examine one's standards to ensure that they are reasonable and well-founded. Ethics also means then that the continuous effort of studying our own moral beliefs and our moral conduct and striving to ensure that we and the institutions we help to shape live up to standards that are reasonable and solidly based. Measuring ethical lapses is difficult to quantify precisely. However, the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners publishes a biannual report looking at the state of occupational fraud. In other words, fraud arising from employee behavior. The fraud experts clock fraud as costing the typical organization 5% of their annual revenue, which is a staggering statistic that many of our clients find hard to believe at first. But after they spend a few hours with us, it opens their eyes to the magnitude of this risk and all the things that can go wrong. On a global basis, occupational fraud is estimated at over $3 trillion, which, if fraud were a country, would rank it between Japan and Germany on a GDP basis. That's huge. So let's just say that the cost of unethical decision-making has a lower threshold of about $3 trillion and a likely upper threshold of something much more than that. In other words, we've got a really big problem here. We all have a predisposition to believe that anything unethical can't possibly be happening in our house, that our coworkers and employees are all honest people and can be trusted to do the right thing. Tell me I'm wrong, and that's not the thought you had in this very instant. We are all predisposed to this belief, and as a result, tend to ignore ethics in business as a matter of practice. Understanding the fraud triangle helps you to understand some of the psychology behind unethical decision making. First, we're going to look at motivation. And this relates to the pressure felt by the fraudster. So what's going on in their life that's making them need to commit fraud? Perhaps they're just keeping up with the Joneses and have gotten used to a lavish lifestyle that's not funded by their current salary. Secondly, we're going to look at rationalization. And this speaks to the story the fraudster tells themselves to say that it's okay to commit fraud. For example, it's a loan and I'll pay it back later. And that's often how people start on the slippery slope. I deserve it. I got passed over, or I'm doing the work of two people. Everyone else is doing it. That's a common rationalization as well. And thirdly, let's look at opportunity. And this one is interesting. This is the one element that the organization has the most control over. Opportunity is controlled by the degree to which we pay attention to fraud and implement a strong system of internal control. However, when broadened to ethics as a whole, it has the same implications. It's against these trends that we begin rebuilding, enhancing, or augmenting our own level of ethical intelligence.